And this one has been brewing for some time. We're talking about the Court of Appeal having granted bail pending appeal to William Ato Essien, founder of the now defunct Capital Bank. But gentlemen, I want to take us back a little bit in time. Take us back in time to when William Ato Essien was actually... I beg your pardon, Ato Essien. Yeah, Mankani. Ato Essien, Mankani. Thank you for the correction, my way. Ato Essien. Because, Ato Essien has also been on our lips since last week.
He's a finance
Indeed,
minister.
Ato Essien. And he also had his legal battles, but he got out
acquitted. Interestingly, by the same court. I think it was a court of appeal that did justice to Ato Essien's
case.
What the NDC believed to be persecution, but I mean it was a prosecution by the AG's office. It was a court of appeal because they determined the matter, and then it meant that whatever was happening in the High Court became moot. The Attorney General said he was going to file an appeal, but the government lost. This government came and said, look, that case was dead on arrival.
It's now done.
They left it to be.
Certainly.
We got to know Japa, the name Japa.
That's when Japa got catapulted into the spotlight, became a household name. And then subsequently, with this new administration, we saw him, entering
National
homes.
security.
And where is Japa? We'll follow up. We'll find out. Those of you who have missed the name, let's see what he's up to. Hey, you put your mask back on. Well, founder and CEO of defunct Capital Bank, William Ato Essien, ran out of lifelines as the Commercial Court 7 of the Accra High Court sentenced him to imprisonment for money laundering and stealing. This followed his failure to pay in full an amount of some 90 million Ghana cedis he had agreed to pay the state after entering a plea bargain in December 2022. Let me refresh your memories real quick, and then when we come back, we'll talk about the ins and outs of this case.
Distraught and regret. These words summed up the reaction of former CEO of Capital Bank, William Ato Essien. Although partially masked with the aid of a face mask, his countenance was telling after Justice Eriche Bafo read out the judgment against him. After pleading guilty to 16 counts of stealing and money laundering, Ato Essien entered a plea bargain with the state under Section 35(7) of the Courts Act 459. He was to pay 90 million Ghana cedis, but paid 30 million on December 1, 2022. As part of the agreement, the former Capital Bank CEO was to pay the remaining 60 million Ghana cedis in tranches in 2023, 20 million Ghana cedis by April 28, another 20 million cedis by August 31, and finally 20 million cedis by December 15, 2023. The court cautioned him that failure to meet any of the deadlines would result in a custodial sentence. However, by April 28, Ato Essien had only raised 4 million cedis and another 3 million by October 12. Justice Che Bafo's patience had grown thin after lawyers for Ato Essien pleaded for an additional 6 months when the case was called on Thursday. He noted that he had hoped the convict would take advantage of the long break to raise the remainder of the money. Prosecution filed a motion to impose custodial sentence after it became apparent that the convicts would not be able to pay the remaining 53 million cedis. Justice Eriche Bafo described William Ato Essien's offences as grave, something that had resulted in several customers of the defunct Capital Bank losing their jobs, some of whom were still looking for employment today. Reading his judgment, the presiding judge sentenced Ato Essien to 95 years in prison and hard labor for the 16 counts of stealing and money laundering. The terms will, however, run concurrently. Hence, he is to spend 15 years in jail. Lord Idwasari, TV3 News, Accra High Court.
And that was our colleague, Lord Idwasari. He was on the beat, still always on the beat when it comes to court issues. Now, fast forward to 2025, the Court of Appeal has granted bail pending appeal to William Ato Essien, founder of now defunct Capital Bank, who's currently serving a 15-year prison sentence for the theft of over some 90 million cedis. If you're watching us on Facebook, we've summarized the message, at least in that video, for you to also follow along. Gentlemen, do you share in the sentiments that I see abounding on social media and beyond, that this appeared to only be a matter of time?
Well, a matter of time, I'm not quite sure of, but I think in recent times the conversations have been raging following a number of developments on the scene. We know the beach capital, there was an acquittal of some sort at the Court of Appeal again. We've seen the discontinuance in the Dr. Dufour case as well. And so we had people talking, people asking questions. Okay, then what happens to Ato Essien, who's been sentenced over similar charges?
At that time, it looked like he was left alone. He was being sidelined while the government in power treated other people in a kind of special way. So, rightly so, people were interested in knowing, why is Ato Essien not being mentioned? Why does it seem to be, if you like, at the back book when there are people of similar offenses who are being discussed and who are, being on the track of being pardoned, that kind of conversation?
Yeah, and so even there was a general, not general, there was a groundswell. It began to form up.
Right.
People asking the question, should we be for instance, asking that he be pardoned also because he was of ill health at some point? That came up as well, the fact that he wasn't so well. And so for many, not so surprising, but the surprise really is in the fact that the Court of Appeal, from the small reactions I've been getting, does not immediately grant appeals pending review of cases or charges that have been brought against somebody.
So this is what a bit of an anomaly in this instance.
Yes, in terms of the practice of the court, that's the understanding that we get. But he's not been well. That's been largely reported for quite a while. He's not been well, and so that came up. But I think in all of this, the big question which will be asked is, after all the noise which was made about the banking sector cleanup, where has it landed us? Who has been held liable? Which individuals? Has the state been able to recover in terms of the sums of money which was used to help collapse the banks? At the last time I checked, we were in the excesses of 24 billion cedis. Persons are supposed to have been punished. That's the argument. Were they punished? So far, it looks like just Ato Essien ended up in prison because he could not fulfill the plea arrangements he had entered in with the state in refunding the 90 million cedis. What has happened to the rest? Are we getting value for all of the actions that cost the state in excess of 24 billion cedis? I think that we can go round and round and round, have conversations about who should have been where, prosecution, unusual for the court to have done this, what was the argument put before the court. But we will have all the conversations and we'll come back to that point, because the previous administration slapped a 5% levy of some sort on banks to take care of the banking sector collapse. And so after all is said and done, what really did we realize out of that, and have we been able to get assets that we can say will offset the huge cost we put into all of this?
Now, looking at what has happened with the Dr. Dufour and others case, and the willingness on the part of the AG to accept some monies to the tune of, 60%, right?
Yeah, I think it's about 2 billion.
2 billion cedis, right?
The 60% that Bryce Simmons is about
10% or so. Now, in the broader scheme of things, this government came into power with this oral agenda, recovering all loot, putting some monies back into our coffers. Although the AG says, "Oh, trust me, I'm still looking to, put people behind bars," that agenda is still on the table. Do we see that, well, in this case, some sort of deal could be brokered further to what has already happened? I mean, if he was unable to pay up, the remaining, and another, say, offer is put on the table, what is the confidence that this time around it could be fulfilled? Do you think that it's part of the oral mandate to go this tangent or go in this direction when it comes to punishment of wrongdoers, as it were? Do you see a desire by this government to sort of focus more on restitution as opposed to jail? And as a people, how does that make us feel? And of course, I'm only jumping the gun. All that has happened so far, it's a 10 million cedi bail. But just kind of juxtaposing that against what we've heard so far.
I think the government came into power mainly, well, on a larger scale based on their position on recovering all loot. And there's a conversation that is not to recover partial loot, it's to recover every loot wherever it is. There should be a nice marriage between getting the money and then still being able to fully punish the people. One should not be sacrificed for the other. While you are serving your sentence, if you should, there should be efforts underway that you will be able to pay back what you deemed illegally to have taken from the state. It was good that Ato Essien began by paying a certain amount, and when he defaulted, he had to go to prison for that. So if the government now will seem to be, for the lack of a better word, trying to, massage people into paying the monies that should come to the state, it will raise a few eyebrows. That is not what you promised us. You didn't say you would come and, beg people, massage them into paying. You came full force that pay the monies that you're taking, and as you pay, we're taking you to the appropriate quarters to be dealt with. So for me, the two should happen. One should not be sacrificed for the other. But if you're staying still on the Ato Essien thing, there's the concern of why Ato Essien is being, if you like, pardoned right now. Not necessarily in full-term pardon, but I mean, we know that he's not feeling well and all of that.
I think so. He's not been pardoned,
exactly,
like Crosby is saying. So what happened, if I could just do like a quick update, is so some charges were slapped against him for the banking sector collapse. He agrees just when the court was about to deliver judgment, says that I've entered into an agreement with the state to pay back 90 million. And in the agreement, it is structured when you're supposed to make the payment in installments. So he pays 30 million up front, and then the rest goes into 20 million, 3 installments. He pays his 30 million, he struggles to raise the other 60 million, and in the agreement, should he fail to make the subsequent payment after a number of deadlines had been given to him, then it could be at the discretion to have him imprisoned over his failure to have not paid the remaining amount. And so that's what happened, and he was imprisoned. Now he's seeking to appeal the imprisonment, the period, because he was slapped a 15-year jail term. He's seeking to appeal that 15-year jail term. So essentially, and it was good education we got yesterday. This appeal is not seeking to say I'm not supposed to be in prison, I'm supposed to pay back the money. No, he's just making the argument that the 15 years is too much, and so reduce it for me, and I'm serving some time. And so in weight of that appeal, for the court to sit, hear the argument from his lawyers and all of that, he's gone to seek bail, that I am appealing my decision. So give me bail, let me be home and be coming from home for my appeal.
So whilst it's not a pardon, it's a bit of a reprieve to at least be home to undergo that process.
Exactly.
Right.
Certainly. Yeah. All right, time check. It is some 23 to the top of the hour, 9 a.m. This is 3FM Sunrise on 3FM 92.7. In studio with Noble Crosby and Mawina Egbata. Crosby, you were making that point for us.
So the thinking many have is that there's been pressure on the government because of the stance government has taken on somebody like Dr. Dufour, for instance. There's been pressure on the government to, if you're coming to if you're looking for equity, come with clean hands. If you're doing this for Dr. Dufour, then consider Ato Essien too. So that's the thinking people have, that government is then responding to a lot of the concerns that people have raised concerning how it is treating Dr. Essien, who, like Mawana explained, is serving, what is expected of him. So it will be interesting how this appeal would be heard, how far it would go, and what becomes of the fate of Dr. Essien in the phase of the remaining 60 million, and they're appealing the 15-year jail sentence.
Thank you for your thoughts, Noble Crosby Annan, in the studios right here. But let me introduce my guests for the morning, and we're still sticking on this topic of the Ato Essien bail and matters arising. A very good morning and a warm welcome to Ebo Bakman. He's a senior communicator, Movement for Change. Ebo, good to see you. Good morning. How are you doing?
Good to see you too. Good to see your beautiful face and to hear your beautiful voice this morning.
And why are you using shea butter? The skin is glowing, as the young ones say. You are eating a lot of fruits, drinking a lot of water.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, we love to see it.
Yeah, exactly.
We look forward to your thoughts this morning on the subject. Let me also say good morning and a warm welcome to Austin Kwabna Bracco Powers, and he's a private legal practitioner. Austin, good to see you. Hope you're doing well.
Yeah, I'm doing well. Yourself?
I'm doing all right. You're also eating your fruits, keeping healthy?
And working out.
And working out. I was going to say, I see it.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the arms, and I know that Austin has been doing his press-ups. It's very, very good
Very important.
to see you this morning. Also in the studios, I've got Daniel Kwesi Ashama, Acting Executive Director, Complementary Education Agency, CEA, and former MP of the Buem constituency. Good to see you, sir. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I am doing very well. Hope the journey here wasn't too stressful.
Oh, not at all.
Okay.
It's just had a good night or a good sleep, sorry.
Okay. You've
just got here, so you are the first to actually test my voice for the day.
Okay, we're
just
grateful.
Quiet with Madame in the house, does everything right,
You are making some people jealous this morning. Not everybody left home with peace of mind.
They will marry, and those who have already married and maybe because of something they've separated. I'm praying that they come together again. Marriage is sweet, right?
I can tell who had a good night and an even more excellent morning, but we digress. On Fridays, we get into all of those matters. But gentlemen, again, welcome. Grateful for your time this morning. We're talking about some very serious and pertinent issues this morning, matters that certainly concern many Ghanaians like myself and yourselves. And we lay that foundation on the William Ato Essien case. We took you back in time, what happened December 2022, a look at the list of charges and the agreement that was made between the states and Mr. Essien, his failure to meet those conditions and what happened thereafter. If you're watching us on Facebook, we've put the key timelines of the Ato Essien trial on the screen, so do take a look and follow along with the conversation. Again, fast forward, we know that the Court of Appeal has granted bail pending appeal to William Ato Essien, founder of the now defunct Capital Bank. We know he's currently serving a 15-year prison sentence for the theft of over 90 million cedis. Now, in a ruling delivered yesterday, Wednesday, July 30, the court granted Mr. Essien bail in the sum of some 10 million Ghana cedis with two sureties. He's also required to deposit his passport at the court's registry and report once a month to the registrar of the court. Ebo, I'd like to kick things off with you. What is your reaction to the Court of Appeal's decision to grant a 10 million cedi bail to William Ato Essien pending appeal?
Let me say good morning to our listeners. This particular case has been an interesting case, considering the fact that if you look at the facts of the case, how it started, the fact that when the issue first came up, he pleaded not guilty and later decided to to make a U-turn, to plead guilty, and was asked to pay 90 million. He was able to pay 30 million.
30 million.
And later, I think 7 million or so. Of course, he couldn't, go by the agreement, which required that he pay the rest within a specified time. And so he was jailed in lieu of the amount that he was not able to pay. The case has now come up again because this time around he's been granted bail by the Court of Appeal. This is a legal issue, a very technical legal issue, because this morning I was asking my brother lawyer here some questions about it, because we are interested in getting our money. We didn't get the money from him, and so he had to be jailed. Now that he's gone back to the courts, will it be possible for the court to say, instead of the jail, he should be made to pay the money? That is one possibility I'm looking at, which I believe will be good for the country. I believe that those who have stolen from this country, if they are made to pay back what they've stolen, sometimes with interest, it will be good for this country than just, can you imagine, he was given 15 years, right?
Indeed.
And the amount left to be paid is about 53 million. Do you know what 53 million can do in this country? As much as I believe in punishing people for wrongdoing, when the money involved is such that we can get the money with some punitive interest in addition to the money, and probably the person will be blacklisted from engaging in any financial activity like establishing a new bank or being employed in any financial institution. I think it will go a long way to help us. So, yeah, it's a very dicey issue. I have a special relationship with Ato.
I can tell that today the flow, seems to be a little bit hindered. So I take that into consideration.
It's very difficult.
But I will have to ask you the questions. But I noted. As soon as you started, I thought, okay, but noted. Because, and we'll definitely expand the tentacles of this conversation. What the thoughts that have been catapulted recently into the public domain is, what really are Ghanaians looking for? Do we want our monies returned? Are we clamoring for custodial sentencing? And what is the psychology really behind these two things? This government has come in off the back of oral. Is that informing certain decisions moving forward? What is more paramount, getting our money or having some deterrence put in place? But I'll come back to you. Let me go to counsel and get his thoughts on this. Austin, was granting bail legally sound, considering Mr. Essien's prior default on the restitution agreement?
Yes, Ellen. So I think the Court of Appeal did a good work, particularly looking at his condition. He has a very worrisome health situation, and when you look at, in fact, the criteria the court would have to look at before granting, bail pending appeal, this one of it has to do with exceptional circumstances or exceptional reasons. That there's an exceptional reason, and I think his health condition is an exceptional reason, the basis of which the Court of Appeal rightly exercised their discretion. Granting bail is a discretionary act. When you look at Section 33 of the Court Act 1993, Act 459, it gives power to the court, either the court that slapped the sentence or the court that is hearing the appeal, to determine as to whether or not to grant appeal to a person who has appealed his sentence, pending which determination will have to be made. So I think the court rightly made a determination, and it's something, and it brings to fore, this brings to fore a lot of arguments, like you were saying. There have been so many interpretations. So, and like Ebo was just saying, so we're just discussing what would be the situation, or what would be the possible outcome, particularly if the Court of Appeal decides to sustain its appeal, or uphold this appeal. So when the court sustain or oppose your appeal, that's to say that they agree with you that indeed you were unfairly jailed. By reason of that, they are questioning the sentence. But there are two possible outcomes. So the Court of Appeal may decide to uphold his appeal, by which reason to say that, okay, now we are taking away the custodial sentence. Either go back and continue with the payment process, or the Court of Appeal can say, okay, we are just, instead of the 15 years, we'll reduce it to maybe 10 years. Now, mind you, he was only, he was given various J terms, but the highest was 15. And usually when you have multiple J terms, and for you have multiple J terms that run concurrently, you pick the highest.
Right.
So that's how come is 15 years. But there were others 5 years, 3 years, 8 years, 7 years. But when you look at it, the highest was 15. So that was why he's not serving the 15 years. So I think now the issue has to do with whether or not we need the money or not. And I think that argument will have to be determined by the Court of Appeal. It is not in the hands of the government to decide that, okay, we want our money. We want the money. The government can decide that, okay, we will not pursue we will not oppose his appeal. That is a different argument. If the government decides that if the AG decide not to oppose the appeal, then that's a different argument.
Right.
Then the Court of Appeal will have to determine the appeal based on the grounds that affidavit deposed to by Ato Essien, the reasons why he's appealing his sentence. Then the Court of Appeal will have to look at it if the government decides not to oppose it. But like I said, it is now is no more in the hands of the government to decide that now we don't want to pursue sentence, but we want him to pay our money. Now the Court of Appeal is the one that has to decide, make that determination, and so we can be able to read meanings into that, but that will not suffice, because like I said, since it was the Attorney General that moved an application for custodial sentences to be imposed on Ato Essien. It was the Attorney General that moved an appeal for that to be done. So you cannot now, in law we have something we call, you cannot reprobate, you cannot approbate and reprobate. You cannot eat your cake and have it.
Yeah. Right.
So I agree with the sentiment, and many people are saying, why not? Because if sweet deals have been given to Dufo and others, why not Ato Essien? But we must...
You consider them sweet deals?
Sweet deals. Yes, because the thing is that if you are looking at an amount of 3.3 billion and they are saying that pay 60%, which is approximately 1.9 plus billion cedis, that's a sweet deal. If we want our money, we should go for the long haul. Just go for the jugular. Don't go for the surface, or just go for something that you feel may not be in the interest of the country. So I feel that part of the argument is not tenable,
right? Because
this one, there's a sentence, so it's a different ballgame altogether. And like we know, when you look at Section 54 of Act 30, the Attorney General has a power to enter a nolle prosequi, which is not questionable by any court. Not even the accused. You can't question it. It is a tool at their discretion. So if they decide to enter it, it does not mean that you've been acquitted. And I think we should be able to. So the thing is that if the government decides that if the government decides that, okay, don't forget they've entered a nolle prosequi in the case of Dufo.
Indeed.
So in that case, they've not entered any agreement. So there's no agreement before the court. There's no agreement as compared to Ato Essien's case, where they entered the agreement and the court had to adopt the agreement. Yeah. You get it? So it becomes almost a consent decision of the court. So the breach of which the court will now have to step in. Okay. But with the Dufour's case, there's no agreement. The AG is saying that we have agreed with them. That is backside agreement. Without the court involvement. So the question is that when there's a new regime, would they be able to pursue the remaining amount? Yeah. And the answer is yes, it's possible.
So they will be able to pursue that amount. Given the history, though, of William Ato Essien not being able to fulfill that restitution payment timelines, the plan. What sort of confidence then would you say that the court would have in upholding this appeal?
No, I think really the thing is that already, because of the collapse of the bank, by reason of the withdrawal of the license by the Bank of Ghana, pursuant to their powers in section I think 123 of the Banks and Special Deposit Institutions Act. He's unemployed, and he has to sell most of his assets just to defray this cost. I think the best option for the Attorney General then would have been to allow him, to give him some time. Because the argument would have been valid. Because the thing is that this is a businessman, and as a businessman, this Capital Bank is not the only business he created or he started. He has a string of businesses, and these people, businessmen, they have ways of mobilizing funds to defray most costs or defray expenses. And I think if the government then had exercised their discretion by saying that even though he had been unable to meet the payment plan, let's afford him some more time, because the court was ready to listen to the Attorney General. Don't forget, as for the court is there to do business. So, and if it is the responsibility of the AG to prosecute cases, so if the AG that has control over the cases decide that, we want to afford him more time to make payments, the court will oblige. But the AG, like I told you, had to move a motion for custodial sentences to be imposed on him. So on that basis, the AG, we have lost all argument, or let me say, we have lost all piety to say that we want Ato Essien to go back and pay the amount. And like we were discussing, when you impose a custodial sentence on an accused person, it means that you forfeit any amount you are supposed to claim from him. So the 53 million cedis, like Ebo said, he was sentenced in lieu of the 53 million cedis outstanding debt.
Right.
You get, so by reason of that, it means that he was not going to pay the money again. He's not going to serve the rest of his time in jail. But I think, given his situation and given what he has done, his track record, Ato Essien will be able to pay this amount, even though he was unable to meet the payment plan. I think, giving him the benefit of the doubt would have been the best ideal, and not to slap a sentence on him. Interesting.
When I read from that, and also when you rope in the former AG, Godfred Yeboah-Dame, you recall in the Ato Essien case, the ambulance case, the company at the center of the controversy had offered some 2 million euros, I recall, which was turned down by the AG. It might be that the former AG had a different mindset when it comes to punishment. Maybe for him, it was better for there to be a custodial sentence as opposed to actually getting, some monies into the coffers of the public purse. Maybe you juxtapose that against what we're seeing with this new AG, who, although he says, he make no bones about it. He says people will be going to jail, but I also get the sense that this idea of recovering the loot is paramount on the agenda, and that's something to also ruminate on as we expand the conversation. Austin, thank you for those thoughts. Let me come to Honorable on this and also pick your reaction to this news about the 10 million cedi bail in this case.
Thank you very much. I say good morning to my gentleman and your beautiful lady. It's now my turn to say how beautiful you look too.
Thank you so much.
Great.
I didn't do too much today, so that's music to my ears. Thank you.
This issue is within two regimes, two attorney generals. One attorney general belongs to a regime that is just so capricious. That is Nanado's attorney general. Now we've got into another regime where you could see clearly that the attorney general, you ask a question, what do we want? He wants money to develop Ghana. I'm talking about two regimes. We have two attorney generals here. Now, going back to history, I don't know whether you've read or heard the story of A-Life. Have you heard the story of A-Life?
Honorable, educate us, please.
Yes. The act was planned by staff of Ghana Commercial Bank in Kumasi. State's money was taken to open A-Life. Rawlings was the head of state then. What did he do? It's okay. We are going to take the state's money back, but let's allow the A-Life to run until they finish paying. That is why when you are going to Nungwa, we have a bus stop called A-Life. And the state was able to recoup its money. This is a situation. The lawyers of Ato Essien said something.
Ato Essien,
sorry. Hey, Ato Essien, Black Chinese, forgiving you. That's our Ghanaian. They said something that, according to Ato Essien's legal team, allowing the state to keep the money and also jail him was an injustice. How much has he paid?
Some 37 million cedis.
Million Ghana cedis. Applicant's contention, I'm quoting the lawyers, is that it will be clearly absurd and occasion applicant a gross miscarriage of justice if the Republic benefits from part of the agreement and in addition takes its pound of flesh by way of custodial sentence passed on applicant, whilst applicants suffer the clear double jeopardy of losing the sum of 43,750,000 Ghana cedis and yet still be put in prison. The lawyers contended. I got this from Graphic, it's a Ghana Web, yeah. Graphic Online. So my brother to mention a word of granting a bail or is by discretion of the judge. So we must look at that discretion of the judges. Many of my colleagues, NDC people, some are making different arguments pertaining this jail. But the time this issue crop up, some of us ask questions that, okay, this person you said has taken so much money. Has he gotten some assets? What is his bank balance? Have you taken into consideration the bank balance, the assets or the properties? Have you used the cost of this property to match what he has taken from the state before giving this amount of money to be paid or not? We couldn't get those answers. Whether NDC or MPP, that is not good justice, or that is not justice, so to say. To me, right. It is not. It should come clear. Because this is a nation and every citizen has the right to ask questions and expect answers. Did you tell us all these things? Because the reason why I use the word capricious is that it is like the past regime is just interested, oh, let's jail the person, let's put this. Is
there no merit to that, Honorable? Because
I didn't say there is no merit, but you must also answer my questions. Because before you take money from bank, don't they ask you for a guarantee?
Indeed.
Then they, and making sure that the guarantee matches what you are taking, those are the answers we couldn't get. So I'll continue to ask questions. So who were the people sitting, looking at this loan application being taken? What assessment did you do? So if that assessment is to be made, then it is not only Ato Essien we should go. Because a team, we have a loan officer, isn't it? Who should see, and then the board, they presented all these things. And why Ato Essien alone? So those are the questions that are still in my mind. And that is why when I heard this, I should say, I was a bit happy.
You were a bit happy?
Yeah. I am happy because, like my brother mentioned, health issues are here. And I did not receive answers to these questions that I have asked. Who granted the bail? Unless you tell me that Ato Essien moved in the night, have the keys of the safe or the systems,
and then just pull the money out. That answer too, I could not get. Tell me how he got this money out of the bank account. You didn't tell me. So there are still questions on the table that are unanswered. So I would like them to answer this question. Dami should come and answer these questions for us. Because I'm a citizen, I'm also having the right. Because I've applied for a loan before. And they'll tell me, oh, loan officers are working on it. This one, loan officer didn't work on it. These are the questions we should be asking. The board didn't look at it. These are the questions we need answers, or I need answers if nobody needs answers. Because I know for sure discretionary powers are open to abuse. Somebody can see your face, and because he doesn't like you, can tell you something that you go hang yourself. So our justice system must be coming clear, because we are actually developing or teaching or nurturing an educated society where people must be asking questions that we should get answers for. So if today Godfrey Dami is moving about saying all those sort of things, come and tell me, who are the people who sat on this loan application before it was taken? Come and tell me. And what did you do to those persons? Do you get me right? So, or do you say because the bank belongs to him, so you just allow? Then why are you appointed as a board to manage the institution? Why are you being paid as a loan officer to manage the institution? Why?
So you say this is an opportunity for us to open the can of worms again and explore what might have gone wrong in this case? Or would you say that looking forward, Honorable, for you, what is the best case scenario following this grant of bail?
The court have spoken. I don't have anything against that. We shall follow that. But what I would not like to be hearing is from Dami and his camp to be chastising or saying things against the current Attorney General. These are the questions you should answer to us.
What is your major gripe against the former AG wading into these matters? He's also a citizen.
These are the questions I asked then. I was a citizen. I didn't get answers. I sit on media debates and ask these questions. I didn't get. Can't he respond to my questions? Or when you're Attorney General, you don't respond to MPs or former MPs or citizens of Ghana questions. You only respond to questions from the president? I want to know. Because, you see, it takes brain to build a business. And along the line, there could be infractions. How does our justice system handle these infractions that we are talking about? Do we just look at let's punish him, he has taken this, or they want to say, he's being supported by NDC, let's punish him? If you behave like this, then where are we going for our democracy? Let us have clear-cut justice system that deal with issues like this, so that we will not be asking questions going back and forth. Now 43 million has been taken, isn't it? He has gone to jail, isn't it? So how do we handle this?
Let's pull up that quote again by former Attorney General on the screen, and let's see exactly what he has been saying. So I'm quoting him here. He says, "I dare say that on account of the resetting of prosecution we are witnessing, there is no justification for Ato Essien to be in jail. Free Ato Essien now."
He's rather saying that.
Do we have the correct quote?
He's rather, Godfrey Dami is saying this now.
That's
Okay.
That's correct.
So in the first place, why did you send him to jail? He was the Attorney General then. When was Ato Essien sent to jail? Is it Mahama's regime or Nanado's regime? So why should he be talking like this? Why should he be talking like this today? Where was he reading from in those days? You see, this tells you clearly that our justice system has a problem.
What is the problem?
Godfrey Dami's statement on the board. Why today and not yesterday, the time you were there as an Attorney General and he was jailed? Why not? Why didn't you come clear with this? Why not? These are the issues. So you see where I'm coming from.
Honorable, thank you for that. I'll certainly come back to you for your second bite. I do have some more burning questions. Ebo, I'm back to you on this one. You've had a few more thoughts concerning this case. What is the best case scenario now moving forward?
You see, because of some information I have, I said I was very close to Ato even before the formation of the bank. And I'm aware that at a point in time, the former finance minister wanted to buy Capital Bank. And Ato
the former
finance minister.
Which one?
Furata wanted to buy the bank.
Mention the name.
And this Ato
Honorable, it seems you also have this intel.
Yeah, and
we know a lot.
I see.
And so Ato came out to say it, and they were not happy about it. I remember Ato granted interview to Paul Adomotri and mentioned that publicly, and they were not happy about it. So I would say that the case is in court, and let the law apply. I am one person who believes in equality before the law, and that at any point in time, the law must be allowed to work its logical conclusion. If, in the wisdom of the court, he should be granted bail, which has happened, it lies within the bosom of the court to decide the fate of Ato moving forward. So, as I said, I want to be very careful in some of the things I say. And
right.
Yeah. So, but I want the court to handle the case fairly, and also to ensure that at the end of the day, if he would have to be made to pay for the state to benefit, which for me should be the best approach, that he should be given the opportunity to pay back to the state what was. I mean, the money was given for business purpose. And if, as you rightly said, businesses, sometimes you go down, sometimes you need to do cut and paste. And in the course of that, you can lose today and gain tomorrow. And probably at the time that the issue came up, some monies have been moved from one place to the other for further investment. So, yes, as I said, there were more to it than what just, on the surface. I mean, beneath there were some undercurrents, and that's
very strong ones.
That eventually, resulted in what happened to him. So, it's one issue. I'm very happy that he's out, especially considering his health condition.
Yes, and I was going to go and talk about the health issue because, on one hand, some argue that Essien's health issues, justify bail, and others say, well, this is simply preferential treatment. How do you weigh those two schools of thought?
Yeah, I'm not saying that that is the cause. That is why he's being granted bail. But I'm saying that now that he's granted bail, I'm happy because of
the health
condition. Now he can now seek proper treatment while at the same time going to court. So, but the point is that the bigger picture is, and linking this one to the Mr. Dufour's, Dr. Dufour's issue, I believe that the move to get 60% is good. But we shouldn't stay there. We should go beyond that. But if the person is prepared to pay 60%, so that we can file nolle prosequi.
Austin says it's a sweet deal.
Yeah, but it's a deal. It can be described as a sweet deal. But the point I'm making is that we shouldn't lose. The state shouldn't lose. More. 60. Even if you take 60, the 40 there has to be negotiation for the 40. Are you getting it? Yeah, so that we take it, even with interest, if possible. Do you get the point I'm making? So, yes, I like that Attorney General's approach. He thinks that we need money as his nation to build this country, and so he'll go in for the money, and then we'll negotiate. So going for the 60% is good for the start, but it shouldn't end there. We should go for the remaining 40%, even with interest. That is my view. That is for me. That is better than sending the person to jail for 10 years.
Would you be surprised that there are Ghanaians who actually, if given the chance between recouping money and sending certain persons to jail, they would opt for sending certain persons to jail. Would that surprise you that some Ghanaians say, no, for what you have done, I don't even want to see one peswa, because your actions or inactions have directly contributed to my pocket. When I didn't have money, I felt some level of humiliation. I couldn't get married. I wasn't eating 3 square meals. I want you to suffer.
Now, probably we need to take a real look at our legal system. If I don't know, the lawyer is here, he will help us. I don't know whether we can have a situation where, supposing you pay what you've done, you should be given 20 years. But you're able to pay part of the money, so you reduce your sentence to 5 years. Do you have such? Yeah.
Plea bargaining.
Yeah. So, I mean, we should consider if still you have to suffer some punishment in jail. Yes, but then you should also consider the money aspect, because Charlie, we need money in this country. You go.
That's right.
You go to the IMF all the time to borrow money, and if you are suffering, so we need which one is better? Let me ask you. Somebody owing the state 53 million,
yes,
going for 50 years and coming back to enjoy, going for 15 years, coming back to enjoy the 53 million. Mind you, by the time the person is in jail, the family is enjoying the money. Probably they are investing the money. Are you getting it?
Right.
And also having a situation where the person say, I will pay the money. Give me time to pay the money. Maybe with interest. Which one is better? I believe that as a nation, given our situation where we are financial position now, we need money, and it will be good for us to go for the money, and at the same time negotiate for. So we shouldn't lose. You should be the one to lose as a result of what you've done. And so we don't take the money. We take the money with interest, and with some punitive measures. Probably you can be blacklisted. You can be barred from holding public position and all.
Or even the mere fact that we're talking about you in this regard on a morning like this should be enough of a deterrent.
Yeah. We should be able to do that. We should go for our money.
Right. Well, we'll pick your thoughts, and I know your comments are coming thick and fast on social media. I'll attempt to read some of those out. Also, let me pick your thoughts on this one. Should a person's entrepreneurial contributions have an effect on the legal process? It's come up in this conversation. They are providing jobs, they are doing so and so for the community, for the country as a whole. What degree of influence should that have on the legal process? Why do we care?
Ellen, law is a balancing act. So you balance the law itself and you balance societal expectation or the needs of the society. So anytime judges are taking decisions, they balance these two things. Public policy, what are the people saying, what is the law saying itself. So they have to, string all these things together in order to make or to arrive at a formidable decision. I think, the argument is not sound. Simply because, we make laws to order our behaviors in society, to make sure that things are in order. Now, when you make laws and you don't implement them or you don't enforce them, that's a problem. It means that indiscipline will reign. So, now you ask the question, how come there appears to be seemingly different positions by the Attorney Generals we've had so far? The first, let me say, Duke of Redame and Dr. Ayene. And I think they are not really different.
Really?
It's just, exactly, because you see, Adame was the one who reached an agreement with Ato Essien. That agreement was to afford him the opportunity to pay. Don't forget that if he had wanted to pursue custodial sentence, he would have gone for the long haul. But he said, no, let's come to the negotiation table, let's reach an agreement, and let's draw out a payment plan, by which you will have to, make payment. So, and you see, he was acting under Section 35 of the Court Act, which gives any accused individual or accused persons an opportunity to, instead of, going for jail term, you want to pay the money, compensate the state for the loss, economic loss and the harm having suffered. But the same Section 35.5 makes provision that if at a point you're unable to pay, Section 35.5 of the Court Act, if at a point you're unable to pay, then in lieu of the amount in default, a jail term must be imposed on you.
Does it spell out exactly the timelines, or is that also at the discretion of?
No, that's that was, you see, and this is why Godfrey, the Attorney General, and the accused person reached an agreement, and the court adopted it. So they determined the timelines. The two parties determined the timelines. The court only sanctioned it. In other words, the court only blessed the agreement, and as part of the agreement, it was to make it was first to pay. He paid the 30 million, then the rest he was to pay them in 3 installments of 20 million each, in 3 installments. Yeah. Then he defaulted in paying the 2 particular installments. I think one in August, one in December. He defaulted. I think one in April, one in August. He defaulted in the April one and the August.
That's right.
You get it. And the AG had to invoke the very provision in their own agreement for the court to impose a custodial sentence. So it was at their discretion. And
so you would say that it would be unfair in this particular instance to say that, well, the AG's primary desire was a custodial sentence, given that agreement that was...
Exactly. Okay. I think it would be unfair to Dame to say that he was interested in jailing.
Maybe you can infer from that, from the Ato Essien case, with the refusal to accept some 2 million euros from
That one is different. But with Ato Essien's case, when you look at the trajectory itself, and as Ebo was recanting, the state made an attempt to retrieve the money. And to retrieve the money, don't forget there were 3 others who were acquitted.
Yeah.
Nete and Ko. Yeah. Exactly. They were acquitted. But he had to, Ebo even mentioned, first he said he pleaded not guilty, then later he pled guilty and he was convicted. Then convicted but with suspended sentence. Then when he was unable to pay the 3 installments, the money, then the AG had to invoke the provision. So Godfrey Dame was not really different from or did not behave extremely different from what Dr. Ayene is behaving. Dr. Ayene is saying that I'm ready to jail people, but if the accused persons are ready to compensate the state, I'll go for it. And I agree. I think we need to pursue this avenue because it's legal. Like I said, when you look at Section 35, it makes provision for that.
Right.
So instead of jailing people, if they are ready to pay, but you see, we need to balance it. At what point will we say this will deter individuals or Ghanaians from pursuing or from following this trajectory or taking this path, from stealing from the state, from duping the state? Then in the end, what are we doing? It will affect our fight against corruption. Because you see, if we are setting this precedent and people are watching, Ghanaians, the young ones are watching, they are listening, and they know that, if I even dupe the state of this amount, I'll be made to pay maybe 60% or 30%. What are we doing? We will be contributing to the degeneration of the society. And you see, that is why, as a government, we must be careful of the path we are taking. Because you see, if we are not careful, we will rather be, we'll be derogating from the gains that we have made so far, the gains that we have made in our corruption fight, dissuading, preventing people or telling people not to steal from the state, to do their work dutifully, diligently. We'll be backtracking. We'll be doing something different. It means that when it comes to corruption, we'll be losing the fight.
Did that decision to enter a noli prosequi in the Dr. Dufour case by the AG send alarm bells ringing to you? Do you think that that's a bad precedent to set?
I think, like Ebo said, I'm open to any agreement to compensate the state plus interest. But to undercut the state, it's a no. Because you see, if the money involved is 3.3 billion, don't forget, BOG's, Bank of Ghana's audit report revealed there was 5.7 billion. Dr. Ayene said it was later revised to 3.3 billion. So if the amount involved is 3.3 billion, we are going for 60%. That is duping the state. What are we gaining from this? We are gaining 60% out of 3 billion, which is 1.9 billion out of 3 billion, 3.3 billion, that is no gain. The state doesn't win.
You say no gain.
No gain, because you see what you have done, it is to encourage and embolden people to go ahead and steal from the state, so that the government or the Attorney General will offer them 60% payment terms. That instead of going for the 100% plus interest, they will go for the 60%. I think it's a path the Attorney General must be careful in moving on, because see, if we are not careful, we'll be sending wrong signals to people. We'll be telling people that this is what the government now wants. The government wants money. So if you steal from the state and you are caught, they will let you pay a percentage. Then you also keep the rest. And like Ebo said, at least your family will also enjoy it, because you will not even suffer in jail. At least you pay 30% or 40%. So really what I'm saying is that the two attorney generals that we've had so far had the same understanding. The position is there. They have philosophy, and they were operating within the framework of the law. But at a point, people must be jailed. People must be jailed to send the right signal to people that you cannot steal from the state. You cannot steal from the state, Kitty. Why are you duping taxpayers? People, don't forget, some people are in the villages, some even in Accra. They just need 20 cedis. 20 cedis to feed themselves, they don't have it. Some people will give the state of 50 million, 3.3 billion, and they will say pay us a percentage.
Austin, let me pick the thoughts of Honorable on this. So a lot of different themes are emerging. We seem to have, of course, expanded the conversation to include some of the recent happenings. We're talking about Dr. Dufour and others v. the state. What do you make of this new idea? Not a new idea, but what do you make of this idea that we're on a path of not setting the right precedent, that the needed deterrence is not there, and that if we don't check that, we could be embarking on a dangerous journey?
My sister, I was a teacher. I love punishment for my pupils to change. Even at the point that they say, oh, don't cane. I can tell you without shame. By that time, I was in a private school. I called the parents that I will cane if your child is trying to, you've seen the line that is towing, will not benefit him and the state in future, I will cane. And if you don't like caning, come and take your child away. And I can assure you one thing, I will not hurt your child. That's all. All that I'm saying, I'm not saying that they shouldn't punish the people. No, I am trying to elucidate on things that have happened in this country. And then if we want to put our justice system or financial management system right, it is not only by court. The parliament is there to make law. What is our management system looking like? Are the people performing? Do you get it right? I work with a private company where every month there's auditing. Do you get it right? There's auditing. So immediately you know what has happened. So Ghanaians should not be putting our mind on, let's shoot the person, let's jail the person. Let us look at how do we strengthen our financial institution and our financial management system in the country. How do we do it? And what do we do to people like the time that Ken Ufuriata was there, he suspended the gift mix system. What do we do to such persons? That a state has sat down and said that this is the way to go. This is the way you should be managing our finances. Because you have gotten the power that be, you suspended it and were doing the whole thing. Your own thing. Those are the things we should also look at. Another thing is that, 60% with some 6 months jail. If that is what, because myself, I was clamoring that this past government MP people should be jailed. I was doing so. But they look at things. When my Attorney General comes out, like you asked this question, so what do we want? He gave an example of Beige Capital.
Yeah, Beige Capital.
Yes.
Yeah.
That at a point, the state is to get 10 million. The state says no. But today, we can't get even one cedi. Look at the scenario. So what do we need? Do we need a person's blood or we need money to develop the nation? It is a question on the table that we have to look at critically. And if that could be followed critically, then Parliament too has a job to do to strengthen our financial management systems and make law, a very strong law, which is I'm a former MP, but I've forgotten this word, enshrine the one that you have to go for referendum. Entrenched laws. Many of our laws going forward should be entrenched. If you go against that law, you should be dealt with. That if you're a finance minister, you don't have, even the president should not have any power to sit to change the laws that have been passed. Go for a referendum. The whole nation should vote whether yes or no before you can do that. Because we must build our business people. Take a typical example. Now, we closed about 6-7 banks, okay?
Right.
And then we brought them together under consolidated bank, isn't it? Yeah. Do you know the damage we have done to ourselves? Because even in 2022 or 2023, the consolidated bank we set up or established made loss in their profit and loss account. They made loss. So what are you telling Ghanaians the reason why you take those banks? And then we have banks like GN, Papa Kwesundu's bank. He's telling you that, contractors owe me. Pay the contractors so that I also pay you. The government refused. Do you see where my word capricious is coming from? The government refused. Why should the government refuse? Pay the people. So it is like an example that we've given, that some people came, they just want to be buying people's assets or intellectual properties. And if you don't agree, you should be punished. That is what we shouldn't be seeing. So when making our laws, we should look at that aspect. Let's strengthen the Financial Management Act more and make it entrenched laws. Ye who dare touch it should be punished.
So that if we deal with the systemic issues, we get to the core, we get to the foundation, some of these issues will not even be a conversation.
At all. We will not even go to court because this is what the law has said. And if you go against it, you should take the punishment straight without trial, because the punishment should also be there. Do you get it right? So, like my brothers have said, yes, you see, once you are sent to jail, you cannot partake in any state employment again. So even if it is one day you spend there, you are off. Can you do something like that? Because 15 years, 20 years we are mentioning, what is this thing? Pay the money to us. But because you have done this, we are barring you from nearly any state institution for employment or business or again.
Contract or whatever.
We ban you totally. You will not. And whoever will assist you underground, if the veil is lifted, that person to join you concurrently. We should be looking at such things and not always let's send the person. Yes, the reason why I know my colleagues, some are annoyed that, we should deal with these people, we should deal with, because when we are on debate and you have an MPP person, the MPP man have the effrontery to ask me that, you NDC, show me the person. If you say we are corrupt, show me the people that you have jailed.
So you think you are being dead?
Yes.
I dare you.
Yes. That is the situation in which we find ourselves. But so the time we got the power, I said we'll jail these people. But
now
today,
that you are
Attorney
here,
General,
you feel differently.
Yes. No, Attorney General has brought up a situation or a scenario that makes sense. What do you need? You ask us question, what do Ghana need? Do we need money or we need blood? These are the questions we should be asking ourselves. And so, if you say we need money, what laws can we make in Parliament to, before even you go into business, it has already deterred you that, hey, if I go this way, that is why people like the former governor of Bank of Ghana, Dr. Addison, those are the persons that must be punished, because the constitution says that before you print money, do you get it right? Before you print money, let the parliament know. You didn't do that. The parliament was not aware. So, in a straight way, this person doesn't need court again, because the constitution has said so. Do you get it right? So, these are some of the things we should be looking at. And this, our political cry, jail him and all these things. Attorney General is telling us that people are bringing money. What I'll tell you, my brother Attorney General, the legal luminary, is that collect the money, but publish all the people who come underground.
You want to see them on billboards?
Yes, that these are the people who did that. So even if we don't jail them, we know that they are the criminals of state, and we should bar them from taking any contract from the government, because they say people are bringing money. They are bringing money. That I don't want my name to be. So you take the money. After all this, at the end of the whole thing, then you publish that we should have a billboard for them in town. These are the criminals of state. We didn't jail you, so that your children also know that you are part of those criminal cartel that has actually milked the state to it's very, very
what
poor
an
economic state.
interesting idea. For those of you listening, we'll put a poll out on that. I think Honorable has entered a very interesting
Take the money
into
first,
the conversation.
publish their name, make billboards, we'll pay for it. Take some of the money to make the billboard with their pictures on it. That is part of name and shame.
Helen, something is, I mean, as I'm thinking about something, so what is happening now? So somebody will go and steal somebody's goats, will be sent to court and tell the judge, I can replace it with 2 goats. What I stole 1, but I can give 2 goats. Can I be allowed to go scot-free?
Now, this is a conversation I had with a judge about
because
somebody who stole a goat, a young person who stole a goat, which will cost 2 or 3 or 500 Ghana, and then they give you 5 years term. And somebody like the one we are talking about now, in billions, and then maybe bring the money and go. My dead friend told me that, look, that young person who have not done any work at young age, instead of you to focus on education, have a profession, you have not done that. Do you get it right? At age 18, 20, you started stealing. Then it means when we leave you, by the time you grow, the country is gone. This is some of the discretionary decisions some of them do take. That this person have worked. It is not easy to work to about age 50, 60. You've made money and you want to expand your territory, and then there was infraction. I don't think, for example, Ato Essien started getting money from government to open the bank. Has he got his money? So you ask yourself, how has he been able to manage his life to this stage? Let me do this, let me do this, let me employ people. Along the line, there could be mistake. And that is why he's taking that business punishment. But we should not compare an 18-year who should be in school and started stealing.
Honorable, you don't have any sympathy for them there?
No, not 18 years. I'm talking
20,
about somebody could be 40 years and still be stealing somebody's goods. But the point I'm making is
at
that
age 40, if you are stealing, it means you don't have profession.
But the point is that, you see, but I agree with you. I agree with you on something that you said. You see, if you really want to fight corruption, Helen, you need to look at our laws again. Our laws are not deterrent enough.
Yes.
For example, you are lawyers, say common law. If you go to Ethiopia, for example, they passed a law that goes back 10 years retroactively. And if you ever worked in public office, whatever property you acquired, you'll be asked to justify it. So if you have a mansion, justify how you build a mansion. If you're not able to do that, the state takes over the burden or the property. That they are fighting corruption. If you go to Singapore, it is presumed that if you buy a car or you build a house, there's a law, Presumption Act. It is presumed that you stole state money to build a house. So the burden of proof is not on the state.
It's on you to actually prove that you're able to purchase this.
Yeah, these are serious countries that are fighting corruption. Because they know the effect of corruption. I've always said that if you go to a village and people are drinking with the same water with cows, then that's the effect of corruption. If you go to a place and children are lying on their belly to write, it's the effect of corruption. And so if you really want to fight corruption, you should be very brutal on it. For example, if you're able to pay the money and with punitive interest, the punitive interest should be more than the market interest rate. And if you're unable to pay, you have to be jailed for not paying the punitive interest. As for the money, you have to pay 100% with punitive interest. And so if you're unable to pay the punitive interest, then you sell some jail, terms on the punitive interest, the fact that you couldn't pay. And for me, you should be very brutal on fighting corruption. And you see, another thing is that you are watching whether some of the big names we've heard, in this oral issue, whether those people will be touched. Because it looks as if We don't want a symbiotic relationship here where you scratch my back, I scratch your back.
Yours.
Deal with them as you're supposed to deal with them, so that at the end of the day, the state can benefit from what we have. It shouldn't be very few. Our democracy, who's supposed to be for the people, has become for the few, the political class, and so.
Things are changing, right?
yeah, maybe. Of course, that's what we expect. Moving forward, as it going forward, we should be more brutal in our fight against corruption. If the big fishes or the big fish are caught, you see, our net, paradoxically, it's catching the small fish, and the big fish are rather going through the net. Yeah, that is quite unfortunate. So yes, we are ready to fight corruption, but we should fight it in a better way.
Certainly, gentlemen.
Alan, quick one. I think it will be in the interest of anyone who is being investigated by the Attorney General to make sure that you are arraigned in court. Don't go for a backroom agreement.
What are the safeguards if you go to court?
Because when you go to court, you're on record to have been charged, an agreement reached, and the court sanctioned same. But when you go for a backroom discussion or a backroom deal, and let's say out of 100%, the AG reaches an agreement with you for 20% or 30%, the chances that the next regime will pursue you for the remaining amount is high, because you have not been acquitted.
You don't get any immunity if you go back door.
No. So my advice to anyone who is being investigated by the Attorney General,
this legal this one, the legal service free.
I was going to say, we're not charging you for this information.
Is that make sure that any deal you cut with the Attorney General has the sanction of the court, and make sure that you are cleared. Other than that, the remaining amounts, the next administration will chase you for it, and no law will stop them.
Very interesting thoughts indeed. Time check.
And
yes,
what we can also do is that if Attorney General Honorable Ayine want to go this way, he should go to Parliament to amend and make sure what he's doing is legal.
Honorable, there's a law. If there's a law there,
I said it should go. The laws can be amended, isn't it?
Yeah,
You go and amend it.
More punitive.
Because you will look at it that for the past regimes that we have, people that we said they have stolen money, how much have we gotten from them back? And now that we've opened the window of opportunity for people for plea bargaining, how much are they paying? How much is the state? So we weigh these two options. And if you see that this one is bringing more money, make a law to legalize this plea bargain so that no government.
Until that law is passed, Austin has given you some
we have the power to do
no,
that.
there's
advice.
There's a law.
Okay.
There's a law.
Yes.
We have a plea bargaining act.
Right.
Yes.
In fact, it's even an amendment to act. The Criminal Offences Act that we have. It was an amendment, particularly to section. It was an addition to section 162 of Act 29. So it's there, which gives an opportunity for an accused person to reach an agreement before the verdict or the judgment of the court. Reach an agreement with the Attorney General.
Right.
And the same will be blessed upon by the court. So we already have a law.
But maybe we need amendment to ensure
that no other government
that we take the 100% with
Ghana and laws.
punitive
We have
interest.
so
Yes.
many laws.
It should be.
You see, if we cannot get 100%, do you know another thing we could do is that, yes, we take the 60%. You have a business. We are not going to collect that business. We are not going to sack the people. Bring the government management team to handle that until we take the rest 40% with interest.
Yeah.
Then, if you are still alive, we'll give the business back.
Making laws and making laws and making laws and making laws. Hey,
And the laws
Ghana
not
and
working.
laws.
And the laws not working.
Gentlemen, we'll have to park this conversation, but I'm very sure that we'll be able to revisit it. I'm very grateful for your perspectives. It's been a nuanced conversation, and I'm grateful we're also able to expand it and get your thoughts as well. For those of you listening, do keep your thoughts coming. But I want us to go to Akwatia from Ablekuma North. Our next stop on the by-election train is to go to Akwatia September 2nd. Now, the Electoral Commission has announced Tuesday, 2nd September 2025 as the dates for a by-election in the Akwatia constituency of the Eastern region following the death of Member of Parliament Ernest Kumi. The Commission explained that the seat has officially become vacant in line with Article 1125 of the Constitution, which mandates a by-election when a parliamentary seat becomes vacant. You recall in a few weeks gone by, there was some, I don't want to call it fracas, some banter, some discussion on the floor of Parliament about sensitivity versus insensitivity. Well, fast forward, we have the dates of the by-election. All right, and so the nominations are open. At least I know with the NDC there are some 3 candidates that are vying to be the parliamentary candidate of the NDC. Honorable, let me start off with you on this one. The NDC is keen to contest in Akwatia, given the numbers you already have. You're not letting your foot off the pedal?
Oh, you see, there is nowhere in the law that if you have some numbers, you shouldn't contest. So,
but Honorable, you know where I'm going with this.
Oh, I said there is no law. The democracy, we must go with law. So let us go. And this seat is very, very important. The reason being that, you see, we lost our brother, so loving brother. And the person who should represent him must come from a governing party so that we deliver development for them to atone their pain.
Campaign message.
We want to deliver development. Because I heard one of them mentioning that when they came, when MPP was in power, they were just giving them AstroTurf. Now this AstroTurf is not road. We want to deliver the road. It is not hospital. We want to deliver that. So I think all Akwatia brothers and sisters, don't get annoyed. You can wear black, go and vote for NDC candidate who will deliver. You will be part of that strong agenda. Big push. You got me right? Big push. And every year's district 10-kilometer road that will be allotted, you'll be part of it. Now, looking at the minority we have here, excuse me with all due respect to them, it's not worth it to go and join this small number. It's not worth it. Join where, somebody will say, join who know road. Yes, remove your space and wear it again. Join who know road. So I am telling my brothers over there, you must be part of His Excellency John Dramani Mahama resetting agenda. Let us reset Akwatia.
Honorable, so if Akwatia doesn't get an NDC MP, they will not be part of the big push?
No. We are doing this in remembrance of our loving brother. So their cake will be more bigger. Everybody will get a cake. But we'll use the remembrance of our brother to give them, put more eyes on the cake for them. So I wish everybody well. Go vote for NDC so that we have now 180 what? 84. So 185. You see,
185.
we've gotten
185.
No, 184. So now we're getting 185. If we get this
Akwatia, they need one to make it 185.
Yes, that is Akwatia. But we have 2 tests already. So that is to tell Akwatia people that it is not because of 2 tests that we are asking them to do this, because we have it already. But we want them to join the resetting group so that their development and everything, the way things are going, you get more eyes on your cake. That is all that everybody is going to get. Because my brother Akboja, he told us that every year, every constituency is going to take 10 kilometers. You've heard him.
Indeed.
So it means nobody is taken out. We are not going to be like some people, they only go and put 6 inches asphalt in their hometown. And
6 inches?
Yes. Go to Nanado, Sumta, Kenuforiata and others. Go and see their asphalt. We don't want to do that. Everybody must enjoy the cake of Ghana. What we are saying and praying is that all the NDC appointees, including myself, let us be guided that Ghana is for all of us. It is not for NDC. So when anybody approaches you from any political party, do whatever you can to put a smile on that person's face. That is what we are wishing for. Because for this first 7 months, we have done well in the sense that there is no scandal that has rocked the party or the government. And we are praying that there shouldn't be one for the next 4 years. Because if you go back to history, 2017, by this time, we are talking about 5 million liters of sludge oil in Tema Bost. You remember, I have all those things down.
The campaign has begun in absolute earnest.
They started with scandal and finished with scandal. We don't want that. We've chalked 7 months. By the grace of God, today is the last day in July, right?
Indeed.
We've done well. But please, don't do anything that will put shame into this government. Be content with the little that you have. You know, I should have a driver, you get me right? But I'm driving myself. I'm saving the government.
And you're also buying your own fuel. You're not watching DSTV.
No. As for my office, you don't see anything like the DSTV there. That is what we should do.
We've heard from the NDC. Yes. Let's hear from the NPP. Take a listen.
Your candidate is 2024, you will see some controller. But you are say, as first you hear him, a public theater, and then a seven. What the hell from?
For the benefit of my non-Akan speaking listeners, you were hearing some key voices, some members of parliament on the NPP side feverishly campaigning in Akwatia. The EC has set September 2nd, 2025 for the by-elections, and they say remember Ernest Kumi as you head to the polls. Also, let me come to you quickly, and then I'll also go to Ebo. Beyond the banter that we see from the two parties, NDC and NPP, especially when it comes to the campaign trail, another cause of concern for the everyday Ghanaian is whether or not this by-election will be free of the kind of fracas, violence and disturbances that we saw when it came to the Ablekuma North rerun, not even a by-election, some 19 polling stations. And thankfully, we were having our discussions on TV3 at that time. We had a front row seat to all of the different happenings. Is that a major concern for you? And what should we be really thinking about as we head towards the polls?
Yes, Ellen, you know, as Honorable was speaking, I am not even interested in how the two political parties are campaigning. Because whether you like it or not, they are going for the major battle. The NDC wants to annex the seat, MPP wants to maintain it. But like you well intimated, my concern has to do with security. Security. Because, most of the by-elections that we've had so far in this country have been riddled with clashes, violence, attacks, and other things. What are we prepared for? And I think the Electoral Commission must be on top of their job. Because you see, if we witness violence attacks at Akwatia, it will come from the Electoral Commission.
Not the police?
Because you see, there's an election task force. The EC plays a key role in the election task force, made up of men from the police. So, if we are able to put this security architecture in place to fend off attacks from MPP, NDC, we'll be able to have a smooth run at the by-election. If the EC is not able to put its acts right, we'll have a major problem. Because like I intimated earlier, we've had most of our by-elections have been riddled with these violence attacks and other things, and we've not been able to address them. And just this past election rerun at just 19 police stations, we were not able to contain them. And you remember I said that I was happy that we witnessed the violence attack in the beginning, because by then it gave us a sense, and it gave the security agencies the opportunity to prepare ahead of the vote recount, or let me say the vote count. And that was what we witnessed. We witnessed a smooth vote count. We didn't witness any skirmishes, attacks, and violence attacks. The Electoral Commission must put its act together, get the IGP, marshal, discipline policemen and women. We need disciplined policemen and women, because you see, what we are with this is, I don't know whether whether it's a major concern to you, but it appears our security agencies are becoming intolerant.
In fact, we had a whole discussion this morning based off that viral video we saw yesterday of the soldier,
Exactly.
assaulting an eyewitness and a journalist.
Exactly. Our security agencies are becoming really and very intolerant. The police, we witnessed at Ablekuma North, police officer punching a journalist. Then just recently, an army officer or a soldier using whether it was rope or so to beat an innocent citizen who was just granting an interview to a media house. I think this is not something we should welcome. And I know the top brass of the military have issued a statement that they are investigating. Yeah. We want them to get to the bottom of this, and the people found or seen in the video should be punished, to serve a strong signal, or to send a strong signal to others. Because you see, these are people who are being clothed, fed, paid, even wherever sheltered by taxpayers, and you turn around to beat them. This is not something we should entertain. So we should be preparing for a major, because see, there will be a major blowout. Already before even the Electoral Commission announced the roadmap, some MPP supporters they made videos, putting out incendiary messages saying that they will have, they will carry out reprisal attacks and other things. We are not interested in that. The police must be on the ground. The security forces must be there. Anyone who misbehaves, arrest the person.
Thank you for that, Austin. Ebo, Movement for Change, who's your money on?
Yeah.
September 2, Akwatia by-election.
You see, MPP doesn't learn. MPP doesn't learn. A government in power, the party that has formed a government in power, is organizing primary to select one person to lead. Party in opposition, you are imposing a candidate. MPP doesn't learn. You see, that is why they are having the kind of number they have in parliament. This imposition thing is not the best. NDC could have easily imposed someone because they are in power. Even party in power, they've seen the need to organize primary, do vetting, and select one person. So that it means they give chance to everyone. But you are imposing. Do they think that the treasurer is the only person who is interested in becoming MP? I'm told the chairman himself was interested.
The constituency chairman?
Yeah. So you from the word go, you've created a problem in the constituency.
Food for thought.
Yeah, so for me, that's why I'm saying that. And your party constitution clearly states that. That's why recently I've said the party has become lawless. I mean, do the right thing. Now, people will not say it. One thing about politics is that people take decision and they act with their heart and not their mouth. Yeah. Yes. Because people are mentioning Amase. Of course, she also be interested.
Yes.
Why don't you give opportunity to all of them so that whoever emerges, others will all rally behind the person? So that one is, they've shot themselves in the foot from the word go. And I'm also looking at the kind of messages the two parties are going to present to the people. I know the NDC would have the message.
You have a message for yourself this morning.
Message about the economy, how the economy is performing, and all that. And so the MPP cannot talk about the economy.
No.
Well, we saw they were on their knees. That's the message.
So,
we're on our knees.
And it's not about your people. It's about the people in the constituency. So they have a long way to go. I don't know. I don't have any interest.
I've summarized who your money is on, Ebo, based on what you said. I've been able to glean who your money is on.
I'm not interested in who becomes. But the most important thing is that, as a lawyer said, the most important thing is that at the end of the day, we'll go and come peacefully without having any problems in the constituency, because what we witnessed in Ablekmanot was nothing to write home about, and we don't want a repetition of that.
Absolutely.
We just want a peaceful election. Whoever emerges,
Absolutely.
But then I want to just let me.
Yes, I've only got 2 minutes to go.
Do you think? What would you think if Achimota or Infante Pim was St. Augustine's College, my school? You know, I'm St. Augustine's College.
Oh, I see.
They begin to add Great St. Augustine's College or Mighty Achimota.
They have the right to do so.
You know, it was
You've got the right to boost your own morale.
It was so funny to hear that Great Infante Pim, or it is the smaller schools. It's like great.
Don't cause problem for me. You will leave. I will be here, please.
Greatness. So if today MPP is calling some great minority, then there's a problem.
Ebo, you will be surprised that a repetition of that sort of thing will enter the psyche. And I talked to the psychologists; they'll break it down for you. But gentlemen, I've had a wonderful morning.
I will use the economics to talk to people. How much the exchange rate is.
Oh,
Listen to them. They say, Academia, anything that you need to vote. Did you hear them?
We heard them loud and clear. This morning I was joined by Mr. Ebo Bakman, Senior Communicator, Movement for Change. Always a pleasure, Ebo, to see you. Also, Austin Kwabena Brako Powers, private legal practitioner, always lending his legal expert opinion to our discussions. And today we also met Daniel Kwesi Ashiama, Acting Executive Director, for the first time. And I hope it wouldn't be the last time.
On TV3.
Oh, really?
Today is the first time.
Today you are in my office. Former MP Buem constituency. Gentlemen, so glad that you were able to join us, and do enjoy the rest of your day. But this is where we part company. If it's your birthday today, a very happy birthday going out to you.